Today's scripture brings us to Proverbs chapter 15. Proverbs chapter 15 is a random collection of wise observations, which we're going to take a look at a few. And the first one we're going to look at is verses 8 and 9. We see that it says here in verse number 8, the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. Verse number 9, the way of the wicked is an abomination. Abomination defined means extreme hatred or detestation. That's as strong of a word as God could use to describe a thing and his hatred towards it. And here we see the way and the sacrifice of the wicked are abominations. And this goes back to 1 Samuel chapter 15, in which we had just looked at. And verse number 22, obedience is better than sacrifice. The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. Why? Because it doesn't matter what type of works that they do. They need to obey the gospel of Jesus Christ and be born again. All right, verse number 14 says this, the heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. I worry for those people that really see no need in gaining knowledge about the things of God. You know, one thing I am thankful for is that God gave me that little bit of wisdom. When I was born again, I had a hunger for knowledge. I had a hunger for the things of God. I wanted to know, and I sought it out. Man, if I had questions, I still have questions. And what I do is I seek out the answers for those. And I not only the answer, but how to explain the answer to somebody else. And if there's a Christian that really is so complacent in their understanding that they have no desire to gain more knowledge, I worry about them. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. Verse number 16. I like this. It says, better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is little with the fear of the Lord. You know, I don't have much on this earth, especially when you compare me to some of the ones I'm getting ready to compare to. I don't have much in the eyes of the world, but better is little with the fear of the Lord than great riches and trouble therewith. I thought of the Tim Cooks of the world that care more about sodomy than they do the fear of the Lord. He's got great wealth, but he's going to have trouble as well. Or the Kardashians that care more about fornication than the fear of the Lord. There's trouble coming their way. Or the Joe Bidens that care more about the playing politics, about something such as important as the sanctity of life. He's got trouble coming his way. None of these fear the Lord, or else they would look differently upon the sins in which are so egregious in the sight of the Lord. Verse number 28 demonstrates the importance of thinking before speaking. In verse number 33, humility is so important. It says this, the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Why is humility so important? Well, because it gives us a mindset of subjection rather than superiority. It gives us a teachable spirit. And that's important because whenever we have a haughty spirit or a haughty mindset, well, then we will not heed reproof. We will not heed instruction. And just in this chapter alone, verses 5, verse 10, verse 12, verse 31, verse 32, all of these deal with hearing and heeding and our response to reproof and instruction. I encourage you to look at those verses. There's a reason why God is continually over and over and over giving us Scripture such as, he that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. There's a reason why we see this just over and over and over. It's not in just this chapter. I've addressed this in previous ones. So there's that. Wonderful chapter, wonderful book, and I just love my Lord. He's good to me, and if you believe that, say amen. We'll see you tomorrow.